Alright, gaming family, I'm back. This is the second part of my loose Genesis cart collection. I was running out of time. As you can see, I had a whole lot of loose cart Sega Genesis games, but I just have a little bit more left here than I want to show you. This is part of the first video. I already got some comment on it. Thanks guys, big thumbs up for watching, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the video. So let's get right into it. Now the next game I had, after I showed you part of the first video, this is called Fire Shark. This is made by DreamWorks. This was another cool shmup game for the Sega Genesis. A lot of DreamWorks games have actually went up in price, but I found this for a pretty decent price. I think $10 on Amazon if I remember correctly. But it's a good shmup game to have for your Sega Genesis. Now the next game I have here, Loose Cart, is X Mutants. Another cool game on the Genesis. I got this fairly cheap a long time ago. When I used to go to the exchange, let's say 4 or 5 years ago, they had a lot more Loose Cart Sega Genesis games. Now if I go in 2019, I hardly see any. Hardly. And I hardly see even, ones that are boxed. And if they are complete in the case, there are a lot more. I mean a lot more. When I used to go even further back, like in the early 2000s, back into the late and middle 90s sometimes, you've seen them all the time, and some of them were dirt cheap. But now, a lot of these games are scarce in your local game shops, even loose carts. So if you go to a flea market or a Goodwill or anything and you find them, even if it is a sports game, pick it up. If it's on the cheap, pick it up. You know what I mean? Because when they're online now, some of the prices for these loose cart games, Genesis games, or even Nintendo, they're astronomical prices. And that's not including, shipping. So if you can find them, find them. Now this is another cool game called Shadow Dancer, and you can actually find this game on your Sega Genesis collection for your Xbox One X or the PlayStation 4. So that's another cool game. That's the cart. We got another sweet game here. It's called Heavy Nova. It's a pretty decent game. I played it a long time ago. Not bad. I got that from Lukey Games. Oh, a great game that I love to play still today is Aliens 3. Aliens 3 is a really good game for the Sega Genesis. And I've seen a lot of videos on this that classic retro gaming people on YouTube do. YouTubers do. And Aliens 3 is one of the ones they like to play. It's a pretty cool game. It's a pretty awesome game, I must say, for your Sega Genesis. The next one here is Pebble Beach Golf Links. This is actually not bad. It's not a bad golf game for your Sega Genesis. I found this for $1. So if you find it, guys, try it out. It's not a bad golf game for the Sega Genesis. It really isn't. The next one here is called this one is called Tin Head. Kind of looks like that Martian from The Martian that used to be on, the old the old Bugs Bunny cartoons. But Tin Head is a pretty unusual game. It's a pretty neat game. Has a cool concept to it, and I thought it was pretty cool. I found this for a couple dollars. But Tin Head is another game and flew under the radar, I would say. The next one here is called Bubba and Stick. Pick that up. That's another unusual game. It's different. I tried it. It's a pretty cool game. If you find it and you're curious about what the game's about, pick it up and try it out. Another one here is called Battle Master. Now, Battle Master, I didn't get too much into it. I can't tell you too much about it. It's messed up right there, but I found this for $1. Battle Master. Some people might know more about this game. I don't. If anybody knows, and tell me in the descriptions below in my channel and let me know. But I didn't really get into this one just yet. But it is Battle Master for the Sega Genesis. Another game I got on the cheap was Star Trek: The Next Generation. Pick that up. Another one here, Magical Fighter. Magical Fighter was a pretty unusual, mystical-like fighting game. The graphics were kind of decent, but it was a really cool game I played in the past. Awesome game. Another one here is Back to the Future 3. It was a pretty cool game. You know what I mean? I didn't really finish it, but it was a big game for back in those days when Back to the Future was very popular out there on the movie scene. You know what I mean? So it's not bad. Pro Quarterback for the Sega Genesis. Found that for $1. Pit Fighter. You can find Pit Fighter on everything. Everything. Xbox, PlayStation, Nintendo, all. You can find this. You can even find this on the Atari Lynx. I have it for the Atari Lynx. Pit Fighter. Not a bad game. Some people think the graphics were bad. But you got to look past the graphics. To me, it was a pretty decent fighting game. And it was pretty brutal and bloody. This is Championship Pool for the Sega Genesis. Formula One Racing. Sega Genesis. Bugs Bunny in Double Trouble. Another cool game to add to your Genesis collection. I've tried to find this game for a long time. And I found this game. I used to have this complete in box. I can't remember what happened to it. And I found it at the flea market for $5. But this game is very expensive in the case or without. And this is called Alice's Dragon. This is a really cool game that had pretty cool music in it. And it is a really cool sided scrolling adventure game. Alice's Dragon is an awesome game for your Sega Genesis. If you can find this, guys, pick it up. It is an awesome game. Awesome game. Beautiful game. Beautiful background music. It is awesome. Another cool game that you can also get on your Xbox One X and your PlayStation is King of the Monsters. King of the Monsters for the Sega Genesis. We got Judge Dredd for a Genesis. Not a bad game. Samurai Showdown was pretty darn good to me, in my opinion, on the Sega Genesis. Some people liked it better on the Super NES, but I liked it better on the Genesis. I just thought it sounded better. And to me, it might not have looked, it might have came close to looking better, but the sounds in there, like when you're fighting, to me just sounded better on the Sega Genesis. So that's Samurai Showdown. There's actually a new Samurai Showdown that's out for $60, but I don't want to pay $60 for it. Maybe when it comes down. Then we got WW Raw. Paid $1 for that. Wrestling games are great on the Sega Genesis. I own a few of them. But that's WW Raw for your Sega Genesis. Then we got a cool game that I played back in the day that actually went up in price. This is called Street Smart. This was a pretty decent little fighting game. You know what I mean? Some people thought it was cheesy, but this is called Street Smart. And I thought it was pretty cool. Kind of reminds you of an 8-bit, kind of like Double Dragon-ish type game. We got World Championship Racing. Another one that was $1. Game Tech. I think it's one of the other ones the kid gave me for nothing. It is NFL 95. It has the big X on it. You know what I mean? I don't care. Toy Story. My kids just went to see the new Toy Story and they loved it. But Toy Story was a great game on your Sega Genesis, and if you could pick it up on a cheap and find it, pick it up. Toy Story for your Sega Genesis. This is called Expert. Now, this game actually has one of the characters from Eternal Champions in it. I can't remember. I think her name is Shadow. And they tried to do something different with her character in this game. This was talked about a lot on YouTube. A lot of people didn't like it. I think it's pretty cool. I never finished it. but that's called Expert. So if you're into Eternal Champions and you want to try this out, see if you can find it on the cheap. That's her right there. Another cool game is called Midnight Resistance. Another cool shoot 'em up, kind of reminds you of like a Contra. That was a pretty cool game. I think this might have went up in price if you can find it, but I beat it. It's a really cool game. Check that game out. It is good. Near Dear, great game. It is on compilations on systems. That is the original Strider. Strider was also a great game for your Sega Genesis. Graphically, it was awesome. Beautiful game. Beautiful game. Strider. Now, this game is a very hard fighting game. It's pretty cool. It is called, it is Justice League Task Force. Another cool game. Find it on the Genesis. Try and pick it up for a good price. Justice League Task Force was a great game for the Genesis. And I'm almost done. This other one here is David Robinson Supreme Court Basketball. I think that's another one that kid gave me. Then we have Sega Club's Disney's Bonkers. Picked that up for very cheap, like $1 at a flea market. I think it was a flea market or a garage sale. Not a bad game. Kiddie game kinda, but it's still cool. It's a game. Now, RoboCop 3. Found that at my exchange for $3 a long time ago. RoboCop 3. Not a bad game. Very violent-like type. Graphic-wise, you know. Very awesome game. RoboCop 3. We got Action 95 Basketball. Fatal Fury 2. I played the hell out of this game. This is a very good version of Fatal Fury 2 for the 16-bit systems. In my opinion, this was way better than the Super NES version. Me and my friends played this over and over and over again through the night, in the morning sometimes. We just love playing this game. They did a great job with Fatal Fury 2 on your Genesis. So if you can find it, guys, pick it up. It is a great game. Comes close to almost not having the exact like the Neo Geo, but if you couldn't afford the Neo Geo, that was the one to get in my opinion. Another one here is called Shadow Blaster. I beat this game. It's pretty cool, pretty different. Artwork was pretty good. You could probably find this on the cheap. It was a side-scrolling adventure game. It was unique. It was pretty awesome. You know what I mean? So that's not bad. Shadow Blaster was a pretty decent game. The last one I have here, last loose cartridge, guys, is Primal Rage. Another cool game that you can get on your Sega Genesis, and I'm pretty sure you can find Primal Rage pretty cheap, maybe $5, you know, or something around there. Might even find it at a flea market or whatever for $2, $3. That's Primal Rage. Well, guys, that is all my loose carts that I have for the Sega Genesis. Now you know why I'm the Sega man. I just love Sega. Sega is my all-time favorite system of all time. Even though I own everything else, you know, of all time, it is the Sega Genesis. You know, my console of choice for this generation is the Xbox One X. And is Xbox in general. That's just what I like, guys. You know what I mean? That's just what I like. Not knocking anybody's system and what they like. If you like the Switch, if you like the PlayStation, that's cool. Thumbs up. You know, that's cool. So, hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'll probably be back with another video soon. Have a great weekend coming up. Have a great 4th of July. Alright? And always remember, Xbox for life for me. Peace, gaming family. I'm out.